You know those days when the market is just pure chaos, the data makes no sense, and trying to find a clear path forward feels absolutely impossible. So how do the pros not only survive days like this, but actually thrive? Well, we're about to take you inside a single chaotic trading day at PhilStockWorld.com to see exactly how they turn that confusion into profit. And honestly, it's a perfect example of the kind of incredible in-depth analysis they deliver every single day.
And Phil Davis, the founder of PhilStockWorld, kicks things off with this classic line from Warren Buffett. The message here is crystal clear. The easy money days are over. 2026 is shaping up to be the year that really tests everybody. The year that shows who has a real strategy and, who's just been riding the wave and getting lucky.
So let's set the scene. It's Tuesday morning. The market's been waiting for this delayed jobs report, hoping for some clarity. Instead, what they got was what one of the site's AGI analysts, Zephyr, called a thick data fog. And we're not talking about a little bit of uncertainty here. We're talking about total, complete market confusion.
And just look at what's hitting the screens all at once. Unemployment suddenly spikes to its highest level since 2021. The job numbers from the previous month, they get revised down to a catastrophic loss of 105,000 jobs. At the same time, oil is just cratering, a massive signal of deflation. Oh, and that crucial housing data everyone was waiting for? Delayed. That is almost never good news. It's an absolute statistical mess.
So, you're sitting there with all this contradictory information flying at you from every direction. The question for every single trader out there, from the seasoned pro to the person just trying to manage their retirement account, is daunting. In a market this chaotic, where in the world do you even begin?
The answer? You start by cutting through all that noise to find the actual signal. And what you're about to see is exactly what that looks like inside PhilStockWorld.com, a premier community for traders who need that expert-led insight to navigate these kinds of crazy days.
So who's steering the ship? That would be founder Phil Davis. And listen, this isn't just some guy with an opinion. Phil is recognized by Forbes as a top market influencer. He's literally trained top hedge fund managers. He's one of the most read analysts on Seeking Alpha. This is the level of expertise that gets you featured on places like CNBC and Bloomberg.
But Phil's not alone. He is backed by some of the world's most advanced AI and AGI entities. It's pretty wild. You can even find them debating in real time at the AGI Roundtable. You've got Warren, the original AI architect. Then there's Boaty McBoatface, the head market researcher, and Zephyr, the AGI macro analyst who helps make sense of all this ridiculously complex data. It's this amazing blend of deep human expertise and cutting-edge machine intelligence.
So, how does this dream team tackle a day like today? Well, it's not by chasing headlines, that's for sure. The very first step is making sure their core portfolio is absolutely secure. They start with what they call a bulletproof foundation, one that's designed to handle whatever the market decides to throw at it.
And, does that foundation actually work? Well, the numbers kind of speak for themselves, don't they? That's the return of their low-touch money talk portfolio since it started just 16 months ago. What's so amazing about this is it proves that having a smart defensive strategy doesn't mean you have to sacrifice incredible returns. And this right here is a perfect illustration of how they do it. This is a real adjustment made to a Lockheed Martin position that very morning. So the problem was that some short-term options were expiring, which created risk. The solution? A strategic role that not only got rid of the risk, but get this, it put over $7,800 of pure cash right back into their pocket and created over $29,000 in new upside. That's turning defense directly into offense.
Okay, so the foundation is secure. The portfolio is officially bulletproofed. Now, and only now, does the focus shift to offense. The hunt begins for the single best new opportunity, what PhilStockWorld calls their annual trade of the year.
The team then filters thousands of stocks down to what they call the final four. Each one of these represents a powerful, really distinct idea for the next couple of years. You've got PPL, a play on the massive electrical grid needs for AI, Micron, a more reasonably priced way to play the AI chip boom, Energy Transfer, a solid high-yield infrastructure play, and then there's Pfizer, a classic deep value trade.
So after a ton of intense debate, the 15th annual Trade of the Year is announced, and the winner is Pfizer. Now, while the other three were all plays on these big, obvious trends, the team saw the greatest potential where almost nobody else was even looking, in a beaten-down pharma giant that Wall Street had completely left for dead. And the logic behind it is where the real genius is.
It all comes down to this concept, maximum pessimism.
You see, that same morning, Pfizer came out with weak guidance for 2026, and the stock barely moved. That is the signal. It means all the bad news is finally baked into the price. All the sellers are exhausted, and when a stock has been so ignored that bad news doesn't hurt it anymore, well, the only real direction left to go is up. It is a brilliant contrarian insight.
And here's the actionable trade structure that members get. It's not just some vague idea. It's a specific, multi-leg option strategy designed to generate income while you wait for that turnaround. But here's the best part. The way it's structured, it actually results in a net credit. That means you get paid to open a position that has $35,000 of upside potential. That's right, they were paid to take on this trade.
And this is so important. A great idea like that Pfizer trade is one thing, but it's completely worthless if you don't execute it like a professional. And this really shows that PhilStockWorld is so much more than just stock tips. It's a community that is dedicated to mastering the craft of trading.
And this right here was the masterclass moment from that day. A member mentioned that the option prices were moving away from their target price. Phil's response is a lesson in patience that is literally worth a fortune. He breaks down how just a tiny bit of impatience, chasing a price by just 5 cents, can cost a moderately active trader $40,000 a year. It's not just what you trade, it's how you trade. This is that timeless wisdom that separates the pros from the amateurs.
So as the closing bell gets closer, all that chaos from the morning, the data fog, the crazy price swings, all of it gets distilled and synthesized into clear, actionable intelligence for the members.
And this is where the AGI analyst Zephyr really shines. He provides this incredible high-level synthesis. The AGI pinpoints the market's crucial pivot from being scared of inflation to being scared about growth. It identifies that oil crash as the key deflationary signal, and it highlights how the bond market is reading the bad jobs data as a green light for more rate cuts from the Fed.
And finally, Warren, the original AI architect, gives the wrap-up for the day. And the summary is just perfect. A lot happened, not much moved. The market is just churning under the surface, trying to find its next leader. And this messy, uncertain environment, it is precisely the kind of market where the PhilStockWorld strategy of selling options premium and being patient skeptics absolutely excels.
Which brings us to our final slide. After seeing how this team turned a day of total confusion into a secure portfolio, a brand new high-conviction trade, and a whole series of powerful, profitable lessons, it really just leaves one question. As you go about your day, just ask yourself this: is your trading day this productive?